Hello and welcome to Walsall United WFC.
Good evening and welcome to Walsall United WFC. It's the Ben and Matt Saturday Night Live show once again. How are we today, Matt?
Yeah, good, pal. Nice and refreshed, shall I say. Like I said to you before, not done too much, but sometimes that's a good thing just to, I don't know, what's the word, like catch up on your sleep, get yourself feeling good, chilled one. So, yeah, bit of telly, bit of football and all good, pal. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not all back from Old Trafford, good 1-0 win there for United, back up to fourth place. Evening, Rob. Hope you're all right, my friend. Hope you had a good journey to London and back the other day. Hey, on to a winner there. Lanzel, I hope I pronounced your name right. I do apologise if I butchered that because I'm absolutely rubbish with people's names. I'm doing all well, pal. I hope you're all good. John Fry, I hope you're all well, my friend. And everybody else that's joining us today, good evening. I hope everybody's doing well on the other side of the internet. Might should get cracking into it then, Matt. Good victory midweek, pal. I don't know if you've given your thoughts on it. Just give me a quick minute or two, mate, just on the midweek performance and what you thought of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously John touched on it on Thursday's show, didn't he? Obviously it was him and Nat, but do you know what? I seen the team news and I'll be honest, I was worried. I seen it and I was like, the thought of Miedemar and Paris coming up against Thor worried me. And I thought, we took players off against Birmingham, the better players, to rest them, which made sense because we were cruising. And then I thought, oh yeah, we'll start them. We didn't. So I was like, right, okay, so it's sort of So obviously, through the goodness of the heart, the FA put it on the FA player, which was massively appreciated. So yeah, got to watch it after it finally decided it wasn't working on my phone. I had to get my laptop out. Got there in the end, but yeah, I was surprised. Not surprised. I think that sounds a bit too harsh, but I was surprised in the fact that we never looked like really being troubled. You look at that team, and that was pretty much, apart from maybe one or two, that was their full strength team. And I just think that when we were able to rest players or bring them on later, should I say, and start with, I actually tweeted on All for United, our reserve team, just to wind them Arsenal fans up because I know they don't take it well. But yeah, I said our reserve team, and I think, obviously 0-0 at the break always gives you a chance, doesn't it? Especially away from home. And then here he is, mate. I swear, honestly, because there's a few other people as well, obviously in our WhatsApp group and the social one, sort of saying, oh yeah, and it come up something like, oh, error, or it didn't work. So Andy said, yeah, get on your laptop, and it worked a treat on there. So I was like, fair play, but the FA player. But no, yeah, I think, like I say, obviously it was 0-0 at the break, which gives us half a chance. And, we had chances. Even Tooney, I was shocked that Tooney's chance didn't go in. I think it took a slight deflection when she was pretty much put through. I mean, she was wide, but, finish it in the bottom corner, like I say. I think it was Zellum as well at the bar. So we had chances, I don't think that we really, we probably should and could have had more. We had sort of 3 or 4 decent chances, all with shots on target. But listen, it doesn't matter. We got what we wanted. We got the win. We were good value for it. Fair play to the fans that travelled down. I know midweek's a nightmare with work and getting back late or for booking days off. Obviously, it's London as well. The men's game was on, so there was a clash. But yeah, I was just buzzing. I saw that. And obviously, I think it was 7 minutes added on or something ridiculous. And I saw it and I thought, oh, God, here we go. But, to our credit, we dug deep. Everybody worked hard and it was a good team performance. And I think that just shows now. It's sort of got the water off a duck's back about, oh, yeah, well, we're light years away from, Chelsea and Arsenal. Now, listen, I'm not saying we're comparable, but it does show that, Arsenal can be beaten. And everybody at the start of the season, listen, I've still got Arsenal down for me to win the league. But everybody at the start of the season was like, oh, no, they're going to go unbeaten. They're not going to lose a game. And so far, they've been mullered in the Champions League a few times. Lost to Birmingham. And I think that probably helped us. I think, it probably helped because it showed that with the right sort of way of playing and Mark's fantastic sort of research and analysis and looking into that, it's paid off. So listen, I was absolutely buzzing. The only thing I'm not buzzing about is the fixed draw for the next round, but I'll not end it on a downer. But listen, delighted, like I say, we never really looked troubled, Baggers was fairly quiet in goal. So it was pleasing, and it's good now because that just gives us a massive confidence. Obviously we're on 4 wins in a row, weren't we, and 4 clean sheets. Now we're 5 wins in a row, 5 clean sheets. And I was loving the stats Asif was putting out about, Arsenal I think it was since 2016, they've not failed to score at home. And we'd sort of sorted that out and broken that record. So yeah, like I say, it wasn't even our strongest 11. So again, that just shows the strength and depth for the squad. And I think what's been great is that, and I know Natalie said it the other day, whoever comes in is really taking a chance. And, they've wanted to put themselves out there. It could be easy just to rock up and think, I'll just play cups. Do you know what I mean? But no, everybody out there was bang on it, well drilled and organised, and it was great.
Absolutely. And John Fryer, who's just sent a sentiment there about Bradley not having a save to make, not having to do much. And Gareth, to think people doubted Leslie's ability as a forward. I know that you're a big fan of Leslie Russo, so it's good to see.
It is. Do you know? I just at times I wonder, because I wonder if I'm ever watching a different game. But I'm glad I'm not, because Gareth sort of said it. And listen, there's always going to be a debate about where she plays, which is fine. I just don't like, and I've said this a million times, I don't like a wide. And I think, listen, she's an out-and-out number 9. Somebody said the other week, I heard things at Lee. At the Brumgate, she's not world class and she's not a number 9. I'm like, are people actually like mad? Are they on something? Are they deluded? Are they watching a different player or what? Because I just can't fault the girl. Like, she puts in a hell of a shift. Yes, she may not score weekly, but it doesn't matter. A hold up play and a link up play is second to none. But I still think she needs to be central and she needs the support. And when she gets players in and around her, i.e. Tooney or Risa or whoever we're chucking up there with her, she's lethal. And, you saw it on Wednesday night against Arsenal, comes off the bench, absolutely quality performance, gets the goal. And that's all you need. You don't need to be banging in 2, 3, 4 goals and doing all these fancy tricks. She just keeps everything simple. And, she's capable of mixing a style of play up, and she's an absolute pleasure. But yeah, listen, doesn't need me to gas. I just think she's better off central. In the last few games where she's played centrally, she's scored. I think everybody saw the Tottenham goal and thought, yeah, quality, wide player, which, yeah, quality finish, but, get her in the middle and she can do equally as much damage. So that was that rant. But it like Gareth said, it probably eased a few doubters. And I don't even know why there was doubters, to be fair, because let's be honest, she's not the worst forward at the club.
Yeah. BG Gang 254 United women not going to make any January signings. I don't know, mate, to be fair, man. Listen, we're linked to everyone under the sun as usual. People have got their own little rumours going on and what have you. Listen, mate, I won't worry about it personally, pal. We sign someone, wait till the news is official, the sign on the dotted line, holding up the shirt. I don't get why people mass panic over January transfer windows. I can sort of get the summer one, but again, I don't know why people panic their asses off over it. I really don't. Some people like transfer gossip. I think it's an absolute bore because we're always linked to everyone. And do we sign all these people players that people want? Very rarely. Yeah. So just...
Yeah, sorry. I just think on that, just to add to that, and there was something before, I think it was Catherine that put something out, Catherine Batts, and she sort of said when she interviewed Skinner, and this was sort of yesterday's press conference, that, he was looking, but it was like, had to be the right person, it had to be of quality and the right character, which is great. And he was sort of saying, there's no point in bringing people in just for the sake of it. And I agree. It's not a numbers game. Do you know what I mean? We don't want numbers. We want quality. And character's a big thing. Like, people are quick to underestimate. But if you've got a couple of bad eggs in that dressing room, you don't want that. It doesn't matter who the hell they are. Do you know what I mean? So, being honest, I don't think we'll see anybody coming in Jan. I think it was Steiner or bust, and we've gone bust. He'll probably look ahead to summer now. Whether that's the right thing, I'm not convinced. I still feel it's worth trying. Listen, you've got to ask. You don't ask, you don't get. Why can't we still go for our summer targets now. You know, we might need to pay a little bit more. So what? Let's just do it. But again, that's out of his hands. And I know a couple of Thursdays when I filled in for John, I sort of said, you know, the club and the board are letting him down because the guy still hasn't had one player of his own picking yet. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, you don't want to go on a mad rant, but I just feel like, you know, I'd rather the club or him or somebody come out and say, listen, I'm not being backed now, but they've promised me this for summer. And as long as it happens in summer, then there's not a huge issue. Like, you know, people want to see players and I get that. So do I. But if it's not right and we're just rushing it or we're paying over the odds for somebody that's out of contract in 6 months, then get them on a pre-contract. That's where we need to learn. That's what we didn't do in summer with Steiner. We should have been saying, right, pre-contract coming Jan. And we didn't. And then other clubs sniff around because form, you know, improves and then they get wind of it and that's it then. But yeah, that's just me. I'd be surprised if anybody comes in, to be honest.
Lance, I was just asking now, do we need transfers now with the team spirit that we've got? I'll be happy to wait till the summer, to be honest with you, mate. I really will, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into Spurs game anyway, and I'll try and pull up the comments in a minute. Because I think John said in the WhatsApp chat something about his comments. I've not seen them myself, unfortunately. At the minute, I've been at Old Trafford all day. But what do we make of Spurs then, pal? Is this a game where we've got to be careful not to be too overconfident, if you know what I mean? You know, going in with a lot of confidence. Is it one where I think if we go too overconfident, we could see a little bit of complacency slip in. You know, Spurs have been improving.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Spurs are right down our necks, aren't they? They're level on points for the place behind us. Mark talked about in his press conference about trying to open up the spaces and, you know, finding them gaps and expect Spurs to sort of sit back and sit in a low block and then hit on the counter. And I think, listen, you know, that's something they've done well all season. I think some games, and I've only seen them sort of obviously the game against us, and then I saw them against Leicester at the King Power. And in the second half, they faded against Leicester. And I just feel like if we can get on top early and have a decent opening sort of period like we did against Birmingham, then I don't see why we can't get the win. You know, it's that bit, isn't it? It's the old sort of what we talked about in previous shows, that dragging players out of positions and finding the gaps, breaking lines. Like I say, especially in the low block. Listen, if you said to Spurs, go to LSV tomorrow and you're going to get a point, they'd take that hands down straight away because it means that they're still down our necks in terms of, you know, catching us or looking to kick on. So I think we just need to be wary. You know, teams are now going to come to LSV and sit back and, you know, I mean, listen, we saw it in the Conti Cup. Leicester put 11 behind the ball, looked to hit us on the break, and there we go. So I think, you know, don't play it down and don't overhype it, but at the same time, don't be sitting here worrying. Like for me, I was more worried about Brighton, which we went away and won, than I am at Spurs at home. And, you know, Spurs' last couple of results, obviously, you know, they played Conti Cup on Wednesday, scraped past Liverpool. You know, prior to that, I think it was it West Ham, and they chucked it away in the last minute against 10 players. You know, I think prior to that, it was Spurs. Not Spurs, sorry, we're talking about Spurs. It was Villa, and they only just beat Villa. And then before that, they lost to West Ham in the league. So the last few results haven't been brilliant. It's been a mixed bag. You know, but that said, don't write them off. I mean, they've conceded 8 this season, which is, I think, third best in the league after the top 2. So it's one of them. But I think for me, you know, I'm optimistic at home, and I was right with my Arsenal prediction. I'm going to stick that out there now. I said 1-0, and we got 1-0. So if you ask me a prediction later, I might go sensible again because it seems to be working. But I just feel for me like, you know, there's a sound defense there, solid defense. I think the midfield is okay. It's up front for me where they lack. You know, Rach Williams works the socks off. Jess Naz is very streaky. Obagagu is as well. They're not consistent, but I don't know. See what we get. It's going to be an interesting game. Probably this, I'd say, out of all the Spurs fixtures, even including the away, I'd say this is going to be the better one. Like, this is the one where it's a lot closer than it has been in previous seasons, previous games, previous years, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, what we're saying here, play to our standard, better players, fans in the stadium. Yeah, spot on. And your thoughts, Benny?
Yeah, I just think, as I said, I'm just a bit worried about being a bit overconfident and we'll get complacency slip in. But listen, mate, I think we should be beating these comfortably tomorrow. I think, we're on a bit of we're riding the high crest wave at the minute. We're I just can't see us slipping up. I can't see us slipping up. I mean, I know Spurs have improved, like I've said before, but I just don't think they've improved enough where they can go on and beat us. They may trouble us a little bit, might get a goal, if that, but I expect to beat them comfortably. I really do. I think Skinner now is his ideas now have settled into the team now. I think the team are now trusting with him, with his ideas, like I said last week. And that's just not just the usual starting 11. That's also the squad players as well, because obviously he made a couple changes in the Conti Cup game. And you can see now the players have a lot more confidence in Skinner's ideas and Skinner's approaches into the game. And I just think they bought into it. And I think it's took its time. And we always knew it was going to take its time to buy into Skinner's ideas and to get used to the way he wants to play football. It was never going to happen overnight. I know there's at times rightly been a few questions asked of him, but I think he's answered them questions now with the way that we've been performing since we come back off the winter break as well, especially. I just think that, as long as we don't let complacency creep in, it should be a comfortable game, I think, for us. I know Spurs have always given us quite a bit of a game, especially at their place as well. Sometimes, where they've gone really tough against us. They've gone physical. But listen, I expect that again from them tomorrow. But I still think we've got well enough in there to go out and outperform them, outplay them. As long as we keep playing our football the way we are, we keep the players keep believing in Skinner, keep buying into his ideas. And it just goes to show, knee-jerk reactions as well earlier on in the season about Skinner not being good enough. Skinner not this. He needs out. He's not a Man United manager. He doesn't get it. Sometimes even myself, I've questioned it. I'd be like, what's this guy trying to achieve? What's he trying to get across? But I think we're now seeing what the guy is getting across now. The team, I think, are getting it themselves. We can see a bit of an identity in our style of play. Whereas before it was a bit, wishy-washy. Now I could completely see how we're trying to play. And listen, we're hardly conceding either, which is good. Let's be fair. We've been defensively solid. And that's credit not only to Skinner, but to his coaching staff and to the players as well. Because we saw what happened last year where we was conceding silly goals. We was leaking goals at the back, Yes, at the start of the season we got a bit of a pasted by Chelsea, but since we've come back off this winter break, there seems to be a fresh sort of, look to ourselves. It looks like we've gone on into that winter break. The players have gone away, come back, bought into Skinner's ideas. We look like we're believing again, and. Just let me get my specs on, mate. My eyes are going a bit. I just want to see what Gareth's saying here. Almost as though the new gaffer get time to get his ideas across when the virtue of patience is gone. Yeah, exactly. There's no patience in the game anymore. And it's good to see that, give him a little bit of time, Is Craig ready to say he's wrong to be worried about the Mannion signing? Well, I'll let you answer that one.
Well, Gareth's clearly not been tuning into shows because I said this pre-Christmas. And I think somebody said something about, I can't think what it was now. I was in a conversation and I said, listen, fair play, because I was worried that she would be, after so long out, I was worried that maybe she wouldn't play weekly. Maybe she'd suffer a setback or something like that. And my words were fair play to her because she's proved a few people wrong. Because listen, I wasn't the only one sort of saying, could it be a gamble? Was she going to get re-injured? She barely played at City when she came back. Then when she did come back, she suffered another injury. But listen, she's played every single game. And that's a credit to her. I think she still does, because if anybody that follows her on Instagram, she still does stuff to strengthen her knee. And I think she said, she still gets a little bit of pain in it, which, as long as she's keeping it sharp and fit, but clearly she does have a specialist program which keeps it pretty sound. So, yeah, Gareth, I don't even know what show it was, lads, so I can't even point you back to it. But I did actually already say, that I was wrong to question her. What's the word? The strength of her knee, maybe. We'll go with that. But no, listen, quality player. Millie coming back's complimented her well, and I think that's why, like you said, Benny, not conceding. I think that's a massive factor in it. Millie coming back, sort of doing her bits and manning, and the two different players, so it complements each other well. But yeah, and I think like we said about you were talking about Skinner and his ideas coming across. I think I was saying before, the guy seems to now understand what fans want in the Man United way. And I think that goes a long way, because if you listen now to how he talks, and I know we shouldn't get too hung up on that, but, people looked into it, and rightly so. There was a lot of not needless comments, but a bit odd, and it just rattled people the wrong way. And I think now he understands. And like Nat said there, criticism hurts no one. He got, criticism.
Yeah, he got as rightly, but let's be fair, there was a few from it. There's quite a few out there saying, get rid of him, get rid of him. I remember, was you there at Everton away that day? I can't remember if you were there. At Everton away, and I know there was a guy who stood to my left, right, and he was saying, Skinner, you have no idea, mate, you're not a United manager, Listen, I'll hold my hands up. I've even said, Skinner, what's he doing? It seems like he's getting the United way. Seems to be stuck in this Brummie mentality when he's managing Brummie and is it Orlando Pride? Sorry, yeah, Orlando Pride when it in America. I think you got a small club mentality.
Yeah, I get that, but the thing is, people got too hung up on that. What people failed to realise was that Birmingham team massively overachieved, and that was a credit to him, because he did that with no money, bringing through experience on a cheap and youngsters. And the thing was, yes, Pride didn't go well, but in the bit leading up to sort of joining us a couple of months prior, it was starting to click slowly. And listen, it's not going to work in every league, is it? But no. He talked about the FA Cup with Birmingham. Somebody asked him about a cup final in the Conti Cup, and he sort of said with Birmingham, they overplayed the occasion and they hyped it far too much, and they got walloped. I was at that cup final, got walloped 4-0. And I just think, he's learning, and that's what he'll have taken from that criticism.
Of course, yeah.
It's a bigger club than the two he's been at, with better players, and there's more expectation. That's absolutely fine. Nobody's hiding from that. And it does take time. But the fact that people are saying, get him out, and I was asking the question, who do you want in then? Who's replacing him? And not one person came up with an answer, but they're quick to jump on the manager's back.
The thing is, you got to give him time.
I said it in summer. You cannot expect somebody to come in with new ideas and it clicks straight away. Doesn't happen. Whether it's men's football, whether it's women's football, it's going to take time. And like you said, players now probably have an idea. They know what's expected. He knows what fans expect now. And I think that's made a difference, because, like I say, he's talking a little bit more like you'd expect from a Man United manager. And yeah, I don't know. I just think people just flapped because they go on Wikipedia and say, oh God, 20% win rate. And then they compare it to Casey. But let's say this. Did Casey ever beat Arsenal? No. So we'll leave it on a high, because Mark has been the only manager to go to Arsenal to get a win, home or away. So point proven. I think he's tactically better. I think what he did on Wednesday showed and against Birmingham showed that he's clearly researched the opposition. He's looked for the weak points in Birmingham, and he's looked for the weak points in Arsenal based on their losses and loss to Birmingham, and he's adapted accordingly, and it's worked well. So we sit here now, and it's like, fair play. I think Gareth says here, what does he say? When he left Pride, they're in their playoff positions. There we go. Like I said, again, 12 months might have been a bit rocky. After that, wasn't too bad. It was getting there, and I think they went on an half-decent run. But again, people flap because they don't know and they read. And nobody was around when he was at Birmingham, or not many people were around. And they just look at it and think, oh, yeah, do you know what I mean? Easy to say. And now, the funny thing is all them criticising, a lot of them now are thinking it was God's gift after Wednesday, and it made me laugh, but that's football, innit, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's just proof in the pudding that you've got to give managers time, no matter how badly they start. Ralph Ranick's another one in the men's side at the minute, at times not gone for him, but we've got to give these people time. Rome wasn't built in one night; it was built over many, many years. People forget that. in football these days. And I pulled up one quote from Skinner,
Go on.
which is the only one that I had to go on the Twitter page, by the way. The website, by the way, if anyone saw mine and Colin's show on Monday on the men's channel, was whinging about the website and the content on the website.
Don't go on the website, mate.
For the women's and for the 18s and 20s and 21s, 23s for the men, it's garbage. Anyway,
dreadful.
He says, and I quote, "I believe in this group, so I will be more fatigued than normal. Our physique will dry past that, and then we'll be hungry to put out our best possible performance." That's one of the quotes that I pulled up. I think the rest of it's in a video, which I can't really play while live on air. I do apologise. I have been at Old Trafford, like I said. I've not really had a chance to see it, but just like, you know, it just seems a bit more at ease now. Oh, yes. I misread it. Listen, I didn't have my readers on, lad. Didn't have my readers on. So I do apologise for that. I got it wrong. Next time I'll put my readers on. Anyway, as I was saying, like he comes across now a lot more confident. There's no more of this mid-table babble, which which baffled even me from earlier on in the season, which is good to see. And I think it brings out our. When it comes to match day, it brings us out even more confidence, you know, not only for the fans but for the players as well. They buy into all that. But anyway, we're going back to the actual game itself. I mean, you touched on a couple of Spurs players speaking earlier, a bit earlier in the show. There, is there any particular player that we have to worry about? I'll put you on the spot here, but.
I'm just the thing is, I rate their defense better than their attack. So I'm thinking like just chucking out the usual names, you know, Shalana Zadorsky, Ashley Neville, Molly Bartrick. You're talking, you know, decent defenders that, like I say, they've enabled them to have a pretty much successful season in terms of, you know, not many conceded. But I think, you know, on the day, Rachel Williams isn't a bad player. You know, if she hits form and she gets the service, you know, there's her. Like I say, even someone like a Rosella Ryan, you know, or Obagagu again. But for me, these have been very hit and miss. Like, they've not been consistent. So this is why I'm sort of praising the defense more than the attack. Jess Naz is quick. But again, you know, people, I feel people overhype her. You know, people sort of go off what they've seen, and again, had a bad injury, has come back, and again, been quite hit and miss. But I think thinking back to that game I saw when it was Leicester and Spurs, you know, I'm sure, and Gareth was with me, so correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure it was Obagagu that was out wide, and Obagagu was the one doing all the running and taking on defenders, and then she faded and got subbed at half time. So it's difficult, really. But yeah, I'd probably say Rachel Williams is going to likely cause the most damage, if anything.
Absolutely. What we're thinking about Spurs' goalkeeper these days, and with back in the Championship days, they're a very dodgy keeper. They've sort of addressed them issues at the back there with the current keeper, or do we still think that one's a bit, you know?
Do you know what? I saw her. She was at Everton prior to Spurs, and she didn't exactly pull up trees there. You know, she was okay, but then I saw the Arsenal game, the derby on, and obviously they've got Rebecca Spencer. Now, Rebecca Spencer started the season as number 1, and then now, Corpella. Now they've got her in, and it's like, but she left Everton because she was, you know, relegated to number 2, which is now bizarre looking at it because she's absolutely flying, and Everton are like fighting relegation. So to be fair, I think what's helped Spurs is they've got 2 half decent keepers. You know, I don't think there's anyone that's miles ahead of the other one, but they're both reliable enough to do a job. And I think that's probably helped out. You know, it's been very consistent. Back four's been consistent all season, and it just enables that sort of togetherness, doesn't it? It's a lot easier for a keeper when you've got a back four that's consistent in front of you and a back four that you trust. So yeah, we'll be an FA player. They're an FA player. They're all an FA player.
No idea
about MUTV, do you know?
I don't think MUTV's got it on. I don't think. I'm not 100% sure. Sorry, John Fry, by the way. I wasn't ignoring you. I actually thought that you worded it the other way, that it's on both MUTV and FA Player. I didn't realise you was asking a question, so that's my fault, mate. But Crady's giving you an answer there. FA Player. What was it? What's what I'm on about here? No trees to pull up at WHP, Crady lad. I don't know. And Becky Spence, anything in the corner, it's been good, but she can have shaky games. Yeah. Make sure that we just keep on testing the keepers, to be fair, and whatever, just rain down shots on them, get shots on target, get a couple of nice early goals, hopefully get them rocking a little bit on the back foot. That'll be my ideal start. And let's make sure we do not try and defend a 1-0 lead all game. Pretty dangerous times. We've been there before when we slipped up and conceded an equaliser, or we've gone down 2-1 because we try to defend the game. Let's get a couple of quick goals. Let's try and put this game to bed and score as many goals as we can, because we obviously know stuff might come down to goal difference. So let's just make sure we go out there and apply ourselves in the correct manner. Speaking of Spurs, did you think they're going to score tomorrow at all, or do you think we're going to have a clean sheet in that respect?
No, my predictions are 2-0 win and another clean sheet. I just can't see, like I said, the forward line. I can't see it troubling what we have. If we're talking Millie, Mannion, Owner, and Blundell, I think we'll be absolutely fine. Lad back now, protecting that back four. Jackie rested, Risa on form, Tooney on form, Leah slowly getting back to herself. I think a 2-0 win I'm going to go for. So, yeah, clean sheet again. I need to put my readers on, mate. I cannot read properly today. In midfield, key to Tottenham in central midfield. Everything goes to expect United to dominate that area of the pitch. Did you see many changes in the middle of the park? Do you think Jackie may start? I think she missed the Conti Cup game. She was in the squad, I believe. Did you think she maybe comes in straight away, or do you think we just keep slowly introducing her from the bench? No, slowly introducing her from a bench. And I know Natalie said the same on Twitter, and all the Jackie fans were having absolute meltdowns as per. I knew there was a reason I had them all blocked. I don't see the rubbish they tweet. Listen, Mark got it spot on with Russo. And I said, at the time, we should slowly ease it back, and we have. And I'm glad he's managed it properly, because I feel like under Casey, we rushed people, and especially with that injury crisis last year, and it didn't do them any favours. So I think we managed Russo well. Do the same with Jackie. Jackie's a key player, and everybody knows that. So we don't need meltdowns just because just throw me that. Just because Jackie, hasn't played 90 minutes and tore up trees for months. I think let's just ease her back in. She came on for 15 minutes against Birmingham. She was obviously rested, and Mark said, listen, she ain't playing 3 games a week. And I fully agree, let's have a look now and see if maybe, I don't know, what we build it up to, half an hour maybe, about the 60-minute mark. See how the game's going. Bring her on in 60 minutes, because her work rate, again, is spot on. Her pressing, her movement, link up, everything. So I think for me, bring her off the bench. I think we good to go. Like I say, build it up off the bench, 30 minutes, and then let's go. I'd probably keep the same teams that started against Birmingham, to be fair.
That's the next question I was going to ask you. Do you think he's going to revert back to the same team that started against Birmingham? But you just answered my question right there. I think really that's going to be the team himself.
Yeah, no need to change it, really.
No, absolutely not. I was about to say, I don't think there should be any change. The only change, would you bring Blundell back in?
Oh, yeah, bring Blundell back in. The only reason why she was missing, I think, was obviously because she'd had COVID and was probably suffering after effects.
Because obviously she didn't start against Birmingham, did she? So
to be fair, I did forget about that. But yeah, no, you're right. Listen, Smithy did well, and I've got a lot of time for Smithy. But no, I would have put Hannah back in there. Like I mentioned before, Hannah Owner, Millie Mannion. Go with that. Obviously, lad there as well. That would be, good job you said that, pal. But
no, it just popped to me a day because I thought about Smithy, or would it be a bit unfair dropping Smithy after a great performance at Birmingham?
It would, but then listen, we've got a squad for a reason. I just think it's about picking the better player. And like I say, I've no problem with Smithy. I know people still have somehow. But I just think this is a game where, we win it and we're 3 points clear.
Mm-hmm.
And we need, listen, there's always a need to win a game. But I just feel like this, especially when it's City and Arsenal tomorrow evening, I think this is our chance, right? Let's see. Arsenal go and win at City in an ideal scenario. We win against Spurs. We're 3 points clear of Spurs. It leaves a gap because when we go to, I think we go to Arsenal on the 6th, I think City are away at Chelsea. So having more confidence and going into that game, the Arsenal game, which will be the next league game, so obviously next week's FA Cup, going into the Arsenal game, if we can pick up something again there, and then Chelsea beat City, it's just that gap, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because I think if we're not bringing anybody in, especially for me at the back, I don't want to wish anything on us, but if something did happen, we're a little bit lightweight. So I do think that we need to create as much gap between us as possible because City are going to be the ones challenging us for third. And then if we do have unfortunate injuries or suspensions or whatever, then at least we've got that little bit of a cushion and it won't affect us hugely. But that's just football, innit? That's all ifs and buts. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Just to end the Spurs Spurs segment of this show, good friend John Hume. So hoping for a Leslie Brace tomorrow. I hope so too, mate. That'll be smashing.
I'm going for one and one from Tooney just so we can sing that song again.
And Lanzel saying Smith so consistent, great player, but Hannah has to come in. So he's echoing your words, mate. To be fair, and to end it all, I'm going to give my score prediction. I'm going to go a little bit brave. We'll go 3-0. I don't think we get. There'll be a few goals in this. I think. I'm going to echo John Hume. Sorry, I'm going to say Leslie Brace, and I'm going to go Leo Golton for the other one. I think anyway, but that's mine anyway. Get your score predictions in anyway. We'll try and get a few of them said in the end there. And I just want to get this one in from John Fry right quick. We just go strong tomorrow. Love Smith, but Hannah has to come back in. Yeah, of course, mate. Hannah is a Hamilton fan. She's always got a place in my lineup. You're a Man United fan, not a Hamilton fan.
Nobody should be a Hamilton fan.
Jackie's come off the bench tomorrow. John Fry is just saying there. Jackie's come off the bench. I hope so. It's about time Jackie scores. I'm assuming that his prediction he's going 3-0 as well. I think that's what he's going there for. Anyway, we're going to move it on now to mine and Crane's favourite topic, and that's concerning TV companies yet again. It's just the absolute late announcement of from the likes of Sky Television and BBC to decide when these televised fixtures are all set in stone, because we all know that the fixtures, you get your fixtures list. We was originally down to play on a Sunday, weren't we? Against Arsenal, is it coming up? Arsenal, yeah. Mm-hmm. And actually moved to a Saturday at 12:30 now. Is it 12:30, 12 o'clock, whatever it is?
12, yeah.
But it's took an absolute eternity. Can we not have one where we get at least a month's notice, not 2 or 3 weeks, not a couple of weeks? Surely, even a couple of months' notice, like in the men's league, sometimes we get at least a month and a half, 2 months' notice of what these fixtures are going on. Crazy, I know we've been whinging on and on about TV fixtures and match day fans and fans that consume the product on television. Where do you stand on all this, mate? Should it be called sooner? Is it affecting attendances?
The thing is, right, the issue I've got with it, and I want to be clear on this, right, I've got nothing against the TV deal in terms of what it's brought, the promotion it's brought, the money it's brought, and everything else. That isn't the issue. It's great. We do need more exposure. We do need things on TV. So just want to put that out there to be crystal clear before somebody says, oh, you was praising the TV deal 3 months ago. I'm still praising the TV deal. My issue lies with the FA or the TV people if they're responsible for it. But I'm pretty sure it'll be down to the FA. Like you said, there's no reason why they've got to throw out 2 weeks before the game, oh, you're in London at 12:30, oh, you're in Brighton at 12 o'clock. Jesus, do you know what I mean? That's the issue. That's when it starts to attend. Me and you had a conversation the other day, didn't we? And you said to me, "Oh, are you going Arsenal?" And I said to you, "Yeah, are you?" And you were like, "No, I can't because of work." And it's things like that. You could have, if you'd have known 2-3 weeks in advance, well, 4 weeks in advance, really, instead of 2 or 3, you know, you could have easily changed that shift and been like, right, I need this off, bang, you know. And I think that's the disappointing thing. Like, I think they announced them the 18th of Jan, and they said, oh yeah, well, in 2.5 weeks time, 3 weeks time, you're playing Arsenal away on a Saturday 12:30. You know, that same thing, Chelsea and Arsenal got moved to a Friday night. Now, to be fair, that's not too bad because the two local teams. It's the ones where it's like the long trips. You know, I think when we play Arsenal, like I say, I think City are at Chelsea, and I'm pretty sure that's an early one as well on the Sunday that weekend. So I just think that, you know, you're trying to plan. You know, most people use trains, things like that. Some people book hotels. You're trying to plan it, and they're changing it so late. For me, 4 weeks should be the minimum. You know, I want to be looking now in a week's time for March, and they've only just released Feb. And it's a shambles. It just doesn't help. Like I say, booking time off work, changing things, you know, early, late games. I just think if you're a family as well, you're discouraging families from going. And they really need to think about how they're marketing all this, and why if we're putting things on telly, why is it stupid times? Why are we going, like I think Rob said here, you know, the West Ham game on the Sunday, that was ridiculous enough at 6:45. And now it's going to be midweek. And it's like, well, it's not doing any favours. I get the fixture list might be a little bit, you know, congested and difficult, but why aren't we working together? Why Chelsea Arsenal, like I say, is fine, but United at Brighton at 12 o'clock. You know, we play Arsenal when we've got them at home, and that's down for 12 o'clock. And you just think it's not doing nobody no favours. You've got 4 hour minimum, excluding traffic and a stop journey. It just doesn't. And I just don't think, like I say, especially the evening ones, if you're announcing an evening one so late for families, I just think it becomes difficult, doesn't it? A Friday night's not too bad. A Sunday evening, if you've got to go Manchester to London or London to, you know, Manchester or Merseyside or whatever, like Gareth says there, companies must know. They definitely know. You can go through them fixtures and think, right, I'll have that one, that one, that one, and that one. And this is BBC as well as Sky. But like I say, it's frustrating, really. I don't know if you want to come in and add to that.
I was going to ask you, is it especially in Sky's case, is it maybe because obviously they obviously cover a lot of men's football in the Premier League and the Championship or the EFL. Do you think maybe Sky need to really have a think to themselves, especially for next season, if they can't do anything this season, obviously, but really for next season as well, to think, right, listen, we know our men's kickoff times are this, and that.
Yeah.
We know that we can show this time, and this time on these certain days.
But they should know.
Well, I think is it a bit of a learning experience for them, like trying to fit it in with their men's coverage, because we know Sky have the monopoly of the games, you know, the Premier League.
I think the issue for me is that you find out the men's in a reasonably suitable time. And like you say, obviously, they want to avoid clashes. You don't want the women's and the men's clashing. But at the same time, you don't want to look at a stadium and it be empty, you know, and fans can't get there. So for me, there's a fine balance between careful planning and not taking the mick. And listen, Sky coming in, like I said, he's been brilliant. And BBC getting it on main channel as opposed to hidden on Red Button is fantastic as well. But if you're not getting it right, why are you then supporting the product? And that's not to say withdraw from supporting it, but you've agreed to plow in money. You know, it's your money, what you're putting into this game to improve it. So why are you then hindering people by announcing it 2 weeks in advance or 3 weeks in advance? You know, like I say, for me, the minimum's a month, because you can't, do you know what I mean? You can't drop everything. We're missing a chance. Like I say, love the TV deal and I love the things about it, but bit of planning, bit of organisation. I'm not having that it's like, you know, difficult. It shouldn't be that hard. We know the men's fixtures now for March, I think, for telly, or at least till end of Feb, and we've known them for a while, you know, so I can't, like I say, 4 weeks minimum, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, whichever, you know. I just think that you're killing the match-going fan base at the minute, because, you know, there's going to be more fans panicking or scrambling to get a car last minute if the train's too expensive. you've got bloody crashes and everything else on M6, and it's like, you know, this is why I've missed some of the midweeks. Like Arsenal midweek Wednesday, I'm sat at home because, you know, don't get out of work till 4:30, 5 o'clock. There's no way I'm getting to London unless I own a bloody helicopter. And then I'd be getting back at 2 and 3 a.m. to be up at 6. And you can't, do you know what I mean? You can't do it. That's just me and my job. You know, there's other people, you know, you work shifts. I'm sure for you getting back to start at 11 o'clock at night, you can't do it. You need to book time off work, and then you might not be able to swap your rota because there's, do you know what I mean? There's not enough people, or it's far too late. Like I'd have said, announce it at the same time as the men's. Once you plan the men's, the women's should be coming the day after, because you've got it then, it's concrete, and you can say, right, Chelsea and Arsenal men's is this time. That's a clash, right? Where can we fit the women's? It's United versus City, so that we get peak audience for both. You know, you're putting your money into something. Let's get the best out of it. You know, I can't get it. Public transport's another one. You know, people using public transport. Public transport up here on a Sunday isn't brill. Now, London are fortunate because they've got the tube, and the tube's like, you know, it's great, and it whatever, and it runs quite late and it's fast, you know. But if you're somebody that's getting a bus and they're every hour or hour and a half on a Sunday or non-existent, you know, and trains and things aren't great, I just think it makes a mockery of it, really.
What's the answer, though? I mean, someone chucked an answer to me. Albeit he's a men's football fan, but he chucked an answer at me today at Old Trafford. He said, why don't Sky have their own sort of TV channel for the women, like they do for Sky Premier League, like they do for Sky Football, which they usually show the EFL games on? Should they have maybe a Sky Women's channel and have kick-off times going
like
up against the men's?
Like,
for example, so long as the fixtures don't clash with the men's side, say, for example, United men's team are playing it on a Sunday, so they put the women's on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, and they have the games shown on like at 3 o'clock. There's a TV blackout at 3 o'clock in the men's games, by the way. Surely that's not the same for the women's. I mean, I could be wrong. It might be the same for the women's game. Sorry, but why can't we show why can't they show the women's game on the same time as the men? And you got yourself a choice there, whether you go to Sky Sports, women's football, or whatever they may call it. You know, is that maybe a way around it, or do you think that will now push the game sort of behind the men's? Then, like it's going to affect sort of maybe the audience that you get on the television. Then, for example,
No, I think the thing for me is that, you know, if you're already hampering fans with stupid late announcements, I just feel like a separate channel is forcing a choice. And you know full well that the majority are going to go for the men's. Listen, if it was me, I'd rather watch the women than the men. Do you know what I mean? But everybody's not in my line of thinking. I just feel like we shouldn't be trying to compete. We're nowhere near competing with the men's to give people a choice. So for me, I wouldn't even bother with an extra channel. I'd just be like, right, let's get it on the main channel. We'll work around it. Do you know what I mean? Working around it's not an issue. If it means that times maybe change from what they've advertised, cool, times change. If you can give planning in advance, give planning in advance. But the issue is just put some thought into it. You know, travel to games as well. You know, I was chatting to a couple of Leicester fans the other day, and they were saying, you know, they've advertised this Fox's travel, and fair play, but that's only put on if a certain number of fans go. Well, a certain number of fans aren't going to go. If they've got to get right down to Brighton for like a 12 o'clock and it's a 4-hour trip or a 3-hour trip, they're not going to get the numbers. So it's like, then they're not going to fill the coach. Then the coach isn't put on. Now you've just lost 30, 40, 50 fans from going to a game. So I think just sensible fixtures and subsidised coach travel, you know, would help. And now I get, obviously, you're not going to put on a bus for 5 people. I'm not that stupid, but you know, you maybe get a 9-seater, gauge the interest, right? That's full. Let's put on an 18 or whatever, and so on. But again, you know, it's just not helpful. I think the travel is probably the main issue. You know, people will happily get up early. We've got up the amount of times we've left at like, you know, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. just to get like to the South Coast or London for a daytime kickoff or things like that. You know, people are willing to do it, but they can't do it if people are idiots with the planning. And I just think, you know, changing it so far close to the game that, you know, if you've bought a train ticket in advance to get it cheap, can you change it? Is it going to cost you more? Most likely. Is your hotel refundable? Have they got availability for the day you need to change it to? Possibly not. And it's ill thought of, and it winds people up because there's just no logic to it. Like Gareth said earlier, once the men's are out, there's no excuse. Why are we waiting 2, 3, 4 weeks after? I can't. But like I say, just to summarize, I don't feel that changing a channel or making another channel will help. I just think work around it. You work around it and people know the biggest thing that you can do for women's football is just plan, be organised, be consistent, and then we might start to see it. Like I say, nobody wants to sit in front of Sky and think, Jesus, there's only 800 at Lee Sports Village today. Usually 2.3K. What's happening? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, that's not, we're not Man City. But, for example, if we're going away, like I said, Wednesday night, there was probably, 15 maybe of our fans, a couple of regulars. Again, that clash with the men. We've got to look at things like this. The Conti Cup, they give 2 dates on the schedule. They say, Tuesday or Wednesday. Just so happened that we put ours Wednesday when the bloody men were playing. I know away games are out of our control a little bit, but it's things like this and planning where it really needs to happen. I'm sure as well, I was having a conversation with either Gareth or Rob. I think it was Rob. And we were saying last year, we were pretty sure there was more weekend games for Conti Cup. This year we've had 1 against Leicester. And it's things like that that don't help, That Thursday when we're forced to choose between going to an awards ceremony or watching us against Durham and we have to split up, it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't have to be forced to swerve one or the other just because of poor planning, and we only just got to Durham about 5 to 7. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, whole fixture and scheduling needs looking at because it's been poor for a while prior to the TV deal. It's just been ridiculous. But yeah, that's my little rant.
Let's be fair, though. TV is always king in football. It's worse in men's football, by the way. People might say, men's football, you get a little bit more time. Yes, you do get a little bit more time, but they always find a way of screwing you over. They don't think about match-going fans. We've got it time and time in with the men's games. We have managers whinging and whining the men's game.
Yeah,
just the scheduling and everything. TV is always going to be king, unfortunately, But as you said, though, doesn't mean that they can't plan these fixtures when the men's come out. It should be the same day for me. Surely when Sky get their list, and BT Sport get the list for the men's, and then the Sky should be straight away with BBC going, what we're showing for the women then. What are your TV picks? This is ours. What's yours? And then we'll pencil this one in from there, that there. And as soon as you know what Sky and BT have picked for theirs, and they go, oh, look, United's clashing with the men's side on the Saturday. Maybe we should, if we can move that one to a Sunday, then we could then the fans that want to go to both games could go to both games, or whatever it may be. But yeah,
spot on. No, John's agreeing with you. A Sky for women's football, a Sky channel for women's football. I think the thing is on that, I'm not hugely against it. I mean, listen, as long as there's no clashes, the potential's there. Sky Sports WSL or Sky Sports Championship or just Sky Sports Women's Football, whatever they want to call it. I've got Sky Sports 1 and 2 and whatever else there is. I just feel like for me that it's not yet at that level where if there is a clash, people will choose. So then as do that, you may as well just have it on the main channels, knowing that the audience is there already. Mm-hmm. And then you'd be like, I might give this a watch. It's on the main channel. It's worthy of me watching. Because people are still in this stupid mindset of, it's on this channel, I'm not bothered, or it's this, it's that, it's women. You know what people are like still with women's football? So I just think having it on the main channel for me, let's build it. And, it is worthy of the main channel. So it should be on the main channel. We shouldn't have to create, like I say, separate ones. If we do that down the line, there's no clashes. Brilliant. Let's get some, we've got Alex Scott. Let's get more specialist punditry. The stuff they do, the analysis is top notch. It really is. And I know Sky Sports News, they now have a dedicated women's football section where they'll talk about that. Fantastic. But I don't know. There's options, isn't there? It's there. It just needs, like I said, it needs proper planning and proper sit down. But, I think John says it here, it's Sky, it's the FA. Can't see that happening at the minute.
Yeah, I think you probably see more of that if the Premier League take over the WSL, and hopefully that way that fixtures will be communicated better and things will get better. But again, that's another discussion for another time. That could be years away still. Or it's not going to happen again. That's probably not going to happen overnight. We all know the FA running the WSL. We've been told that by various different people that the Premier League are very interested in taking it over. So we shall see what the future holds for that. But, I definitely agree. Things need to be a lot more quicker, a lot more better communicated as well. Again, it all comes down to that communication, which, listen, we've been saying that since day one. Haven't we really? Communication could be better, advertisement could be better. Just think of the fans a little bit more. I think is what we're trying to say. It's not all about TV. Let's just think of the fans that do like to go to football matches, that do maybe watch both teams, or maybe watch teams of all sorts of level that they have. They like to watch across the various different levels and different, skill sets and what have you. So let's just make sure we just keep thinking about it. Before we end the show, Matt has reminded me to thank everybody that we have reached 1,000 followers on Twitter, which is a massive, massive achievement, really, for a Twitter account that's just been going just over a year, if I remember correctly now, just over a tad over a year. So Matt might probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, we're just under. I think it's the 28th. I think our Twitter got launched last year.
Just under them.
I did put 12 months because I thought I'm not getting picky over a few days, because it don't give specifics, you see, on Twitter. It just says January 21.
Yeah.
And I thought you'll get somebody somewhere saying, all right, it's 12 months. So I thought, you know what, sorry, it's 12 months. But in a few days, it's 12 months. But no, I think, again, something we're chuffed to bits of. We started this, obviously, the Twitter journey, like I say, 12 months ago. And, we had ideas for it, and ideas we still got, now that we're not done yet, and things in the pipeline. So, again, that's a credit to everybody supporting. Everybody's jumped on board. The Instagram's looking good as well. And I think it's great we can offer different on there. In terms of sort of what we do. So yeah, thanks to everyone for jumping on board.
Absolutely. Just keep on supporting us, keep on spreading the word to your friends and your families, just get subscribed to this channel, get liking, and
get
also
our Instagram to 200 as well. We're we're not, we're 3 short.
3 short on Instagram. Let's get the Instagram up there as well. There's 200, and then obviously let's help keep growing the Twitter. Give us a follow on there if you've not done so already. Well deserved. Road to 2K, absolutely. That's it. Before we end tonight, pal, it's been a great show as always. As we always end the show, what can we expect over the coming week, mate? And the pin tweet, obviously, out of on Sunday, is it? The pin tweet,
Yeah,
sorry, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, so obviously tomorrow we've got match day, haven't we? So we'll whack out usual bits on there, Twitter and Instagram. Tomorrow morning, before obviously game day, we've got the weekly catch up. That's just standard for a Sunday. Obviously tomorrow evening again, schedule will go up. We've got Monday, we've got match reaction. I've got my show as well. Tuesday, just a normal week, really. Bit of everything. I will drop something. I know Natalie's already tweeted about it, so I'm good dropping this. We've got a guest coming up that's well worth you tuning in. Her hashtags have given it away, so I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say as well, OG21. That's all I will say. But Natalie's dropping that. That will be on a Wednesday. I don't think it will be this Wednesday, though. I think it'll be more likely not next, because that's the Conti Cup, but the one after. So, like I say, keep an eye, because obviously that's something, again, we love getting the OG21 on. Anybody that wants to come on from that original journey is always welcome. So credit to Natalie for setting this up. Keep an eye out for it. Like I say, it'll be a Wednesday show. We're not going to clash it, obviously, with the Conti Cup. But yeah, that's being recorded this week. So an exciting show to look out for there.
Absolutely. Listen, keep on supporting everybody. Keep on spreading the word. And I can't echo what John Fry's just said there any more better than what he's just said. How he's worded that, through the pandemic, and we have done. What's John Fry saying here? Sorry, I'm away next week, so I'll be on here. Sorry, don't worry about it, pal. Just give us a watch back when you can, mate. Hope you enjoy your time away, buddy. And anything else before we end, pal?
No, I think we covered it, pal. Like I say, just to add to John's point, obviously it's great that we can read that we've been a help. I think it helps us as well. And we've talked about this quite a bit. I think it went from going to games where we'd congregate afterwards in the pub or we'd have a chat afterwards to not being able to do so. And I think what was great was we set this up and we could watch the games sort of online and then we could all come on here and have a chat afterwards. And obviously for anybody that saw us throughout the pandemic, we did sort of a pre-match preview, then a half-time, and then obviously post-match review. And it's sort of, it's grown from there. So yeah, big thanks, to everybody that's felt supported and given us support as well. Like I say, it helped us, me being able to come on here and sit and waffle to people throughout lockdown. It just builds what you lost when we couldn't go. John Hugh might catch you at the game tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully. Give us a shout around, John. We'll come and say hello as per. So yeah, but yeah, apart from that, pal, that's me done now.
Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. As I was saying, just keep spreading the word. Just keep, friends, family. Just keep spreading the word. Especially for the OG21 that that's sorting out. That I promise you that'll be the one that you all want to tune into. This one. I know we've had Naomi Hartley on before. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. But this one's going to be even more. You can see Natalie just getting excited now. She won't be able to sit down. She won't be able to stay still. She'll be bouncing up and down the walls. Anyway, thank you for everyone joining in. Thank you for everybody in the comments as per usual. And I think we shall see you in the next one.
Monday,
absolutely. Take care and we'll see you then.
Cheers. See you later.